And we're going to India now, where preparations are in place to reopen the capital, Delhi. It's part of a drive to ease coronavirus restrictions from state to state as infection rates continue to go down. On Monday, Delhi's markets and shopping malls are opening their doors to the public. Offices and the city's metro are also back in action, running at 50% capacity to maintain social distancing. However, the government is warning people not to become too lax as the city slowly returns to daily life. For more on this story, let's cross over to our Delhi bureau chief, Amrita Chima. Amrita, what is actually open in Delhi at the moment?
Delhi has been through a very, very strict lockdown. And as a part of a phased reopening of the city, last week, the construction sector and some factories were open. And as of today, you have shopping centres, malls, neighbourhood markets and standalone kiosks being allowed to partially open. Also, private offices are being allowed to operate again, but at limited capacity. And also, very important for those people who are hoping to resume work is the opening of the metro, as you mentioned. It was operating earlier, but only for frontline workers. Now it's open to the public, but only at 50% capacity. So it's a big step forward, but the government is also very eager to remind people, and the message they are sending, we've made big gains, but we can't afford to let our guard down.
So people in Delhi, are they relieved that the city is beginning to reopen?
Relieved, and Gerhard, also there's some sense of hope. The city has been through such a tough time. Now, overall in India, you have the lowest number of infections in almost 2 months, and the death toll has also gone down. And Delhi itself has gone through harrowing times. Now, people have lost loved ones, and people are still haunted by images of people dying due to the lack of medical oxygen. So now, finally, as things are easing up, people have time to breathe. And as the local government says, the emotional scars will take a long time to heal, but it's time now to pull together and work and bring the economy back on track.
OK, that's the situation in Delhi. What about the surrounding rural areas? Is village life also back on track?
That is where in the rural areas, in the hinterland, there's still cause for concern, not just because the medical infrastructure there is so poor, if it exists at all, but also the vaccination drive in rural areas is not doing well at all. Even where there are vaccines available, and they aren't available everywhere, there's vaccine hesitancy. And also the structures are not in place to vaccinate people in the hinterland. And vaccination, of course, is key at this time as India's recovering from the deadly second wave. So that's one area where the government is now putting some focus.
Amrita, what could be next steps? Has the government indicated how this is going to go further? And what happens if numbers spike again?
If numbers spike again, immediately I think they will revert to lockdown again and tighten restrictions, which they have done, because though Delhi is easing restrictions in parts of Maharashtra, the state which is very hard hit, including Mumbai, they are easing restrictions in many parts of the country. They have extended the lockdown and extended these curbs. So I think the government is keeping a very close eye on seeing where the positivity rate is low, and that's where they're easing restrictions. But wherever the infections are high, they're keeping a very tight lid on measures to contain the coronavirus.
Our Delhi bureau chief, Amrita Chima there. Thank you, Amrita.